In Her Bag, brought to you by Crown Royal, is a platform dedicated to celebrating Black women who are leading their industries. The world is just catching up to Black women being the sauce, and we want to give these powerful women a space to tell their authentic and honest stories. Community is at the center of everything that we do. My good friend, Miss Imani Ellis, not only realizes that, but has mastered cultivating community. She is the founder of CultureCon and the Creative Collective NYC. My name is Cam, and this is In Her Bag.
The purpose of this series is to celebrate Black women in leadership. And what I feel has been happening is the world is starting to catch up to the magic that is Black women, and more specifically the magic that is Black women in business and Black women in leadership roles. We want to know what inspired you to get into your career, and in the frame of your career, we're talking about the entrepreneurship and being a businesswoman. What were some of your inspirations to want to pursue that?
I think it's so interesting because I really didn't look to start something. I just saw a gap and I was like, how does this not exist in the world? And I think for so long I was waiting for other people to come and kind of save me, if I'm being honest. And then I remember that big quote that was like, we are the ones we've been waiting for. And that really hit me because I was like, if I don't see CultureCon, we should create CultureCon. If we don't see this collective, we should create this collective. And so it wasn't even like, I'm gonna start a business. It was like, let's build a community.
What weren't you seeing that inspired you to say, no, I need to start to build this thing?
So I'm living in New York City, millions of people. And the irony is that a lot of those people felt alone in terms of the best parties, the best brunches, the best networking. But what about just sitting down and being like, resources? Or how do I navigate getting a promotion? Or does anyone know someone who works in fill in the blank? And I couldn't find it. I think that's what the gap was. Resources, organized community, and not so strict. We can talk about insecure, but we can also talk about getting you the bag. All in one place. And so I think for us, it's not just building a business, but building a life. How are you mentally? How are your relationships? All of that pours into the rest of your life. And so that's really kind of the secret sauce, was just going where the people are and building something that they didn't have.
Most recently, you guys released courses. To help creatives kind of, figure out their craft, hone their craft, and kind of navigate the space. Was that another essence of you kind of seeing a gap and a need? So what was your thought process behind those courses and kind of giving people those tools?
The Creative Collective is a living, breathing organism. And so we start the sentence and then our community finishes it. So we just asked them, what do you want more of? And they were like, we're a little zoomed out. We kind of want on-demand courses and we really want to learn. And we were like, well, let's build some master classes for them. And so I think that's my favorite part, is that there is so much transparency in what we build. And CultureCon, we ask, what topics do you want to talk about? Or what do you want more of? What do you want less of? And our community is very vocal, which I'd have it no other way. And that's what we're building, is we're going straight to the source, because we are the community. And the team that's behind CultureCon and Creative Collective comes from that community.
We all talk about representation, and representation is so important. But we're seeing now that representation isn't enough. So what's your thought process around how you kind of empower those voices, and not only empower them, but you allow them to be amplified through your platform?
We built a world that we saw, which is all different types of Black people and people of color. When it comes to internal infrastructures, listen, it's a marathon. That is for sure. But I really think it's important to create these brave spaces. And we've been saying brave spaces for a while. And really what that means is it's not enough to have someone, in the room. Do they feel empowered to say something, to really enact change? And bravery doesn't always have to be the CEO. You could be a brave coordinator that's like, hey, have you guys heard of this? Or I don't know if we should do that. And I think for me, bravery for me was showing up to corporate with braids in my hair. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have braids down my back. And I can. And that opened the door to make a lot of other brave decisions. And so I think when folks are trying to figure out how can I show up or how can I empower other people, it's step by step. You don't have to start with kicking the door down. You can. but you can just crack it open so that someone else can come through.
What are some of the challenges that you face that people may not see or people may not know about?
You know, I love this question because when I thought of entrepreneurship, I thought find a passion, build something great, that's it. If I had known all the roadblocks, I honestly, Cam, I don't know if I would have been so eager.
Yeah.
Because you're signing up for a lot. I think one thing that definitely surprised me was how lonely it is, because there are so many decisions to be made. You need to be able to make very quick decisions, and you want to have the luxury to sit with your decisions. And so you also don't want to be the person that every time your friend calls you, it's about what you're building.
Yep.
Because then everything is
Yep.
about what you're building. And so
Yep.
it's finding that balance. And then also the resources. Like, I did not see a lot of roadmaps, and I didn't need a blueprint, but a roadmap or a mentor, I really had to search for that. I don't think it's the same in other communities. I think that those mentors, they scoop you up, you're under the wing, you get the angel investment, it's time to go. And so that was something, it was like B school.
Yeah.
I was teaching myself a lot of things. And then I think the third part is just kind of that balance, because it can be so all consuming that you're just like, wait, no, I want to keep building.
Yes.
And if you're not careful, these little moments are passing by. And yes, discipline is necessary, and yes, the balance is necessary, but you gotta kind of be careful that you're not obsessed.
Absolutely. What does that mean to you to be a Black woman leading?
I saw this statistic in Forbes that said that Black women are the fastest growing sector of new businesses. And it didn't surprise me because I completely agree with what you're saying, is the world is kind of catching up.
Yep.
There is this instinct, strategy, Black girl magic mix that just makes for great leadership. You know, I love working with Black women. I love supporting Black women. And I think it's kind of that je ne sais quoi. You can't put your finger on it, but you know you're in good hands.
Yes.
And you know that, you know, she's not gonna stop until the job is done well. That is the difference, I think. Like, that's what makes me feel like there's trust there. Because business, brand, equity, it's all about trust.
Absolutely.
And if I can trust you, then I can build with you. Black women are just amazing, Cam. Like, I could go on and on.
I agree. I agree. So we are here with Crown Royal, and they have a quote, a mantra that they use, which is, live generously and life will treat you royal. What is a way or some ways that you inspire generosity in your personal or professional life?
And I think it goes back to that empathy and having grace and not being so quick to, you know, jump to conclusions. Like, taking a step back and remembering that we're all going through a pandemic within a pandemic. And even before the pandemic, just like having grace with people. I'm also really big into mentorship, because when I was first getting into the industry, I did so many informationals. I would get them coffee, I just needed 30 minutes. And so that's huge for me. I will always say yes. I'll always let you pick my brain. I'll always make space, because I used to be that person, and I still am learning all the time. And so as I'm paying it forward, I'm really thankful to those who came before me and allowed me to kind of do the same with them.
Kudos to you for creating brave spaces, for creating community for us in a way that it truly hasn't been created before. I think that it's so important that women like you get highlighted and get your story told the way that you would like for it to be told. Thank you again.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.